Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, it's the last week of July. In fact, the lobster season opens in a few days, and I'm down in Islamorada, Florida. And there's quite a little history to this property. This was my property. I bought this property 30, 40 years ago, and about 15 years ago, I'll just show you. I deeded the property to my son and daughter, my son Scott and my daughter Laura Ann. And this is two houses. We're out here. We got our own little basin out here. Look, we got canoes. We have a big boat basin with 900 feet of waterfront. And anyway, this is kind of my little home away from home. This is where I've done so much tarpon fishing and so much really interesting stuff. And my son Scott, we're coming down right now. We're going to do some film work. In fact, it's the middle of July, and the big snappers, the big mangrove snappers, spawn on the reef at night. And this is the week that they'll be spawning, hopefully. And we're going to get out in about 50, 60 feet of water with his Freeman. Now Scott has this real, about $1 million yacht. It's called a Freeman. It has four big 300 horsepower engines on it. Keeps it up at the Worldwide Sportsman. And it's a charter boat. Actually, he charters it for hire. But we're going to use it tonight. Of course, it's his boat, and he uses it all the time. And we'll have it parked right here. Well, in just a little bit, a couple hours, we'll have it all lined up, and we'll have it all ready for some really good snapper fishing. But first, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what's happening on the fishing end of it. This last Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I went to Headwaters Lake, and I went to also the Farm 13. Now, what happened there was there had been a lot of rain all week. There'd been rain on the east coast of Florida, and the water had come up, and all this water had been rushing down from Garcia Reservoir and all that St. Johns River Marsh. All the water's rushing in to the spillway, and you've seen me do this before. I've taken topwater plugs and Carolina rigs and little flukes and Cincos and all sorts of different worms, and I worked that spillway right at the gate, where there's some cable going across. We throw up at the gate, but mainly we throw in down current. So anyway, Jerry Brousseau and his grandson Hunter and I, we went to do some really top-notch fishing. Well, it wasn't top-notch because what happened, we got down there to the Farm 13, to the big spillway. Sure enough, the water was running, but not full speed, just a little, about a 1/3 speed. And there were 4 boats. In each boat, we caught about a dozen fish per boat, and we had some 4-pounders and maybe 1 5-pounder. It was kind of medium, kind of a mediocre deal. But just the week before, Pat Kelly, who runs that store in Islamorada and in Fellsmere, Pat Kelly at the Fellsmere Fishing Headquarters, he'd caught about 10 great big 5 to 7-pound bass just the week before fishing that same cable. So anyway, we went back a second day, and we did pretty good. I had a guide trip that next Monday, and that was halfway good. We didn't use shiners. Now, see, the shiner bite was a different deal. The guys, I know 2 guys that were using shiners those 3 or 4 days, and they were just limited out. They just went through their shiners real quick. They were going crazy. But the lure fish were a little slow. We did catch them on, we got this new worm. The new worm is called that salty sink. And it's by the Fish Lucky people. And they came down about 2 weeks ago, and we caught a bunch of fish there on Lake Okeechobee. But anyway, we rigged that up both Texas style and without a weight, with weightless, and we also rigged it up with a Carolina rig. And that worked pretty good. I mean, we caught a few nice bass fishing to the edge of the hyacinths, and there's mainly just the reed patches. We're throwing up close to the reed patches, and also the walls of hydrilla that fall down, just nice little channels and stuff. Right now, it's kind of easy to fish that hydrilla on the Headwaters Lake, because what's happened is topped out. In other words, it's hot summertime, and the hydrilla has grown up to the top. Well, when they built the lake, they flooded a couple 100 miles of irrigation ditches and all these gravel pits. And so all those deeper spots have a line now. You can see the hydrilla line. It only grows out to 5 or 6 foot, and then there's a nice line, so it's easy targets. You can kind of estimate where the fish will be, because bass have non-eyelided eyes, so they're going to be in the shade of those edges. They're not going to be on the sunny side of the canal. They're going to be on the shady side on those ledgy areas. So you just find a worm or a lightweight worm like we were using that salty sink with just no weight at all. And we're just going along and facing the sun, and we'd throw to the edge of the hydrilla edge on that canal or on that deep gravel pit or sand pit that they have all over, 17 of them. And we'd just pull it and just let it sink real watching. Be a line watcher. You got to really be a line watcher, and sure enough, they'll bite it. So that was a really interesting trip. We were hoping for better fish in that spillway situation, because usually when they pull water like that, they bite even better. But I've heard now that the water is flowing a little stronger, so I'm going to go back next week. I think it's going to be even better. Anyway, here we are down Islamorada. I just have to just kind of brag about this place. I'll just show you a little bit around it. It's got 900 feet of dockage, and like I say, we're going to have the big Freeman here this afternoon. We're going to be ready to go for a snapper fishing. The grass was getting to be a problem to cut, so we graveled the whole thing. And we got a beautiful ice machine. We got the beautiful another second house, and this house here is all set up really nice. We got both houses. We actually have them on a rental program. My daughter Laura, there at the Roland Marina, she takes care of the bookings, some of the bookings, and then we have a actual realty company that does the bookings down here. Now this is one of Scott's boats, his skeeter boat that he's got, that he leaves down here. Again, this place is really fixed up. Look how beautiful it is. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous place. There's another little bass boat here. Another nice little dock. This dock over here, we used to keep a bigger boat here. In fact, I've had a variety of boats. I had a 28-foot Mako I kept here for a while. Even going back 10, 15 years, I had some Ranger boats, some 25-foot Rangers. And they were nice. And anyway, this is a little patio now. And it opens up into the world famous tiki bar. Oh, look, here's some people. They're looking for lobsters. Here's somebody looking for lobster right now. The lobster season opens up in a couple days. So there's a young woman that's probably looking underneath the thing for lobsters. See any lobster? Yeah, she sees some.
Yeah.
Sees lobster. Oh, that's good.
We're going to be going for mini season. Don't worry about us. But I just love the adventure of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Some big ones.
Some big ones. And there's also some tarpon in here and some.
What?
There's tarpon. Some tarpon in here.
Oh, yeah. I saw barracuda.
Yeah, there's some barracuda. Yeah. But anyway, this is a really nice deal. The lobster season, I'm saying, the lobster season's a really big ordeal down here. There's thousands and thousands of people come down. It'll open up this coming Tuesday, and and so you'll see people just kind of checking for the lobster right now. Of course, this is all public water. Everything's public, and in these rocks like this, the lobster get in these rocks. I don't see them right now. Too much sun. Kind of hard to see them on this camera. But there's a lot of lobster here. Anyway. Oh, thank you. We'll get on out of here and see what's going on. And anyway, there's another critter that we have down here. I don't see any of them right now. We have iguanas. We have great big green iguana lizards. And I know that if I stayed here long enough, I'd see them scooting across the ground. They eat all the flowers. They eat all the grass. That was one of the problems we had. The iguanas were eating up. Oh, I saw one, a small one right over here. He ran back in the bushes. I don't see him now. But they eat all the grass and they eat all the other stuff. These other holes right here are land crabs. Like a big hole right there. That's actually a land crab. And so there's crabs in here, and they're, I don't know if they hurt anything or not, but they eat the grass too. So it's hard to keep grass going around here. Kind of a tough operation. But anyway, tonight we're going to go out on the near Alligator Light, and what's out there is the reef falls off, at about. Most of the water out there is 30 or 40 foot deep until you come to the reef, and you come to the reef, it drops down into about 150 feet. Well, right on the edge of that drop, that's where some cabera snapper, which are great big snappers, they're big 40 or 50 pounders, that's a real treat to catch them. But these other mangrove snappers, and some of those are 4 and even 5, 6 pounds, they're spawning on the reef right now. So we're going to go out tonight, take some fairly light tackle, and see what we can come up with. Here's some more people looking for lobsters. They're all swimming around the place, diving and looking around. And that's again, this is all public water, so they can come in here and get lobsters if they want. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes we see them on this dock right here. This is a great. Oh, there's minnows in the water. Sometimes there's. I don't know if you see it. It's too dark in here. You can't see the bottom. Anyway, howdy. How you doing? This is our fish cleaning table. I built this 35 years ago. It's still here. I built this. I built a lot of this. This canoe deal here. We built that years ago. Tom Yarbrough and I. Of course, that canoe's been around the block a few times. Anyway, this is the Islamorada property that everybody said I was crazy to give away all my valuable properties to my kids, but hey, you know, I'm 80-something years old. I'm still working. I got some money in the bank, not a whole lot. I don't need a couple $1 million that this is worth. I can just deed it on to somebody else and hope that they enjoy it as much as I have. And that's kind of the name of the game right now. Because if you leave it to them in an estate, that's one thing. But if you deed it to them in the way we did an irrevocable trust that made it so the taxes are really in our favor. Anyway, that's our story for the week. Lobster season's coming up. My son's coming down. We're going to go snapper fishing tonight. And that's what's happening, Roland. We'll see you again soon. Hey, hit that likes button. We can hardly wait if you just hit that likes button. It's the grease that make all my sponsors happy. We'll see you again soon. And hey, thanks for watching.